या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मीरारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। The stage of perfection being achieved, remaining individualized and to have internal integrality, not only internal unity. Internal unity is there so long as we are surviving, maintaining and keeping the equilibrium with the entire surrounding. That is, in French, Mother depicts this state of living as milieu. So external milieu and internal milieu are to be so bridged properly that there can be consolidation of the structure and framework of the all different cellular movements, cellular circuits and cellular dynamism. So it is a cellular dynamics that works within our body, and the experiment to elevate this cellular dynamics, that too with love, fearlessly, confidence and spirit of surrender to the centrally located divine. If you are surrendered to the centrally located divine, you can externally also surrender to the Supreme. So you get yourself wider than what you are individualized. Body will not get expanded, body will not get elevated, body will not start reaching the stage of Virat. It is the internal awareness of the centrally located psychic that it can get the connectivity with whatever is existing externally. So it is the internal programming, internal scheme, internal state of consciousness of integrality, physicality, vitality and mentality, 3 in 1. But the center of this trinity, as I told you in this previous episode, that it is the Prakriti of Dattatreya. His human portion, we must grow divine. It is not our human portion. It is his human portion. It is the divinity that has been human. It is the divinity that has been human entity. It is the divinity that has been the human formulate. There should not be an ego behind this. experiment is being conducted, but not on the presence of the ego, that it is being done by me, it is being done by my body, it is being done by my this entity, it is being done by me in this birth. These are all different layers of the ego. So absolutely ego as such has got to be abolished, and abolished prior to this self elevation and self expansion. Though we feel ourselves swarat, though body feels itself to be the center of the entire universe, but still with least of the presence of ego, no I. It is the divine within me that must have been felt by the mother also at that time. Though she is divine, left to herself she is divine. By birth she was divine. By birth she has achieved this integrality subtly in her body, but the psychic and the conscious mind, that is the peak of this prakriti of individual consciousness, of individual being, has not yet registered this integrality. There lies the presence of ego. But mother says that it is not merely a consolidation, it is not merely a concentration, it is not merely a solidifying process that is going on within me unconsciously that is responsible for this. It is the new shape, new velocity and new reality given to the cells up till now, which are absolutely dormant. And as dormant they are at present, right from the very first day of the birth till today, they are kept intact. They are least affected by all different prevalent forces of the environment. Different prevalent forces, positive, negative, neutral, whatever they might be. But they are unaffected because of the unawareness. If psychic is made aware of this cellular base, cellular pithika, cellular pedestal, solidarity of the matter, subtle consciousness, superconscience, that superconscience has been matter of the cell, but is unaware of its own hidden divinity. Now this is the experiment on the part of the mother at that level, that her psychic is so activated dynamically, not activated aggressively, not activated with a different objective, activated by its own objective of this birth. Mother might have realized quite well in advance before arriving to Pondicherry that I feel constantly, I have been experiencing constantly while attending the clubs, while attending different occasions, while living in society, living in my home, visiting certain places. I have been a constant awareness ever vibrating within, that I am with a specific mission in this birth to be realized. It is my specific mission that is to be unfolded. It is my specific mission that is to be demonstrated by me. I am still waiting for that moment. When should I start and when should I get myself so projected? This is my experiment. I am unaware of my experiment. I am unaware of its objectives. I am unaware of its modus operandi. I am unaware of the methodology. Everything that has to be reinvented. Everything has to be rediscovered in this birth. So unaware was the state of psychic. If mother feels this limitation in this birth at this stage, what should be our difficulties? What should be our process? What should be our efforts? And what should be our strongest determination behind this? How can we abolish our subtle form of ego behind it? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? No. It is the divine that is doing it. I am simple an instrument. Total abolishment of this ego is the starting point of this cellular transformation programming. Though cellular entity is there, though cellular entity is based, though cellular entity is being commanded and led by the very determinism of the captain within, still with absence of ego, absence of total ego, is a very typical stage, indescribable. We cannot describe it in words. What is this stage? Absolute abolishment of ego and absolute surrendering to the centrally located divinity. So I of mind has got to be abolished and replaced by the I of psychic. I of mind is to be completely abolished. And what is better replacement? The better replacement is the I of psychic. So psychic awareness is to be enhanced and mental awareness is to be dissolved. This is the programming constantly going on internally to get this internal integrality, internal divine prakriti of Dattatreya. What is its dynamism? Creation, sustenance and transformation, not Visarjan. Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh symbolically are the representatives of these three fundamental dynamics of energy, three fundamental dimensions of energy, three fundamental what we call layers of energy working in relativity, working as mass, working as energy. This is divinity. And these fundamental dynamic forces are so nicely, so perfectly, so accurately well integrated as psychic stuff. That is the stuff of the superconscient directly descended down in the body. And it is not there only centrally located somewhere here at the place of psychic apparently in our human structure, but it is in the very cell too. So there is no difference of the format of the human body and the format of this pinpointed cell, microscopic cell, microscopic entity of cell. And that microscopic entity of cell has got three dynamic forces working together, are similar to the entire working of creation, entire working of universe. So cell is to be connected with psychic and the same entity is to be connected with the whole of universe. That is Virat. That experiment is going on. The experiment continues. I am constantly faced with this problem, which is quite a concrete and material one. What is my problem? My problem is quite concrete and material one. It is not imagination. It is not my superimposition of hypothesis. It is not my fantasy nor assumption. It is my concrete material experiment as it can be done by the scientist in his laboratory. This is my divine laboratory, where the experiment to find out the very cause of existence is to be explored with my personal experience. And with my personal experience doesn't mean my mental experience, my eye-oriented experience. My personal experiment and my personal experience is the experience of my psyche, that is the divine representative working in my body. So it is divine that is operating this process and is conducting this experiment too. My mind is absolutely silent. My ego is dissolved, means for the time being my mind is also dissolved. It is the mindless space that mind is statically located. Mind is there, body is there, vital is there, but mind is absolutely inoperative, is merely the part of the physicality, part of mother's physicality. That experiment is going on. Material, when you deal with cells, which must remain cells and not dissolve into a non-physical reality. Cells are to be continued as cells, as physical reality. As physicality, cells are there. The existence of each and every cell is also to be commanded by the psychic, and psychic knows what is to be commanded. My cellular structure is to be commanded is the awareness of the psychic, and that I can feel. Being a part of my psychic, not being a part of my mind, not being a part of my ego, I can feel. Being a part of my cellular existence and psychic existence, I can feel that this is the programming and the experiment is being conducted. Dissolve into a non-physical reality, while at the same time having a flexibility, a lack of rigidity. Flexibility, it is a perfect flexibility. You wish and you can get the format. You wish and you can get the velocity. You wish something, you wish, and that something will take place. Something you want to get it done, and it is automatically accomplished. No instrument is required, no additional effort is required. Only your wish, but it is a psychic wish, it is not mental desire. It is not the desire of mind, it is the psychic will, and that psychic will is the will of the Supreme. Psychic will is the will of the Supreme before creation. So this new creation is going to take place within my body with the same psychic will, with the same supreme will, but my psychic becomes first supreme, and thereafter my bodily limitations will vanish and I become Virat. Concept is quite difficult, but it is a de novo experiment. You can feel for a moment, then you can be the whole of the universe. The consciousness is so enhanced, so total, so complete, so perfect, that I can experience just for a fraction of a second, that is for our present practical understanding. The moment of timeless is being felt by me, and that too with concrete reality of physical world within me. My milieu is physical. My internal milieu is physical. My internal milieu so operated is also physical. I can feel my physicality, vitality and mentality, but with no negativity. There is no whatsoever negativity. And what is negativity? Negativity is the presence of ego, command of ego, movement of ego, growth of ego, and control of ego over the body, over the physicality, over this integrality. Mind controls mind itself, and mind controls physicality and vitality too simultaneously. That is not there. Having a flexibility is there. Momentarily it slips into this old tendency, but still, as slightly awakens it becomes, slightly awakens it feels, it gets its new position, it gets its new centrally located position. My psychic is playing at that time this way, so flexibly. So it is a master flexibility, that rujuta. In our Sanskrit scripture it is known as rujuta. That plasticity, this master flexibility. You can take any form you like, you can take any shape you like, you can take any movement you like, you can take anything you like, you can be anything you want. It is this master flexibility, that is the dynamic of the determinism. This body is no longer as usual. My body is no longer as usual at this juncture of the time, is unusual, because has got this tremendous plasticity and flexibility. So it is plasticity that is dynamics, plasticity that is dynamism, and plasticity that is divinity. This body is no longer as usual. It is scarcely more than a center of concentration. It is scarcely more than a center of concentration. It has not been a piece of ice from the water of liquid form. It is a piece of ice, consolidated identity, consolidated reality from the ocean of the superconscience, from the ocean of the superconscient consciousness. Original stuff is the central consciousness, Parabrahma, that is Tao of physics by Capra. Tao of physics, of universal physicality. Physics doesn't mean physics, branch of science. Original physicality, the center, that is Tao. That is the stuff, and I can feel it. This body is no longer as usual. It is scarcely more than a center of concentration, a kind of aggregate, a kind of aggregate of something, Still mother sticks to that something, indescribable. Na iti, na iti, na iti. This is beyond neti. The experiments of rishis, that is beyond Vedanta. This is beyond Vedanta. And that is why something is still used by mother for that universal center, which is not slightly different from her own center of this body, because her body is going to be universalized while conducting this experiment. So it is not the experiment being conducted at particular location of the physicality, it is being conducted in the whole of the universe, and for whole of the universe, the entire universe is the laboratory. My body is the laboratory, but my body gets so expanded that the entire universe has been laboratory within my body. Within my body. a kind of aggregate of something. It's not a skin bound body. See that it is not a skin bound body. My body is not skin bound cellular format. My body is the universal cellular format. All the layers, hypothetically we can understand, try to understand, that almost all layers of all varieties, Bahushyam, Ekoham Bahushyam. So Bahushyam varieties are all within me at that time. And they are all within me at my cellular level too. At the level of my cell too, it is so. It's not that my body became universalized only. My cell also became universalized. My each and every cell also has been so universalized, so pinpointedly it has become ever vibrating center of divinity, for divinity, to manifest divinity on earth in reality. Of vibrations, and even what we usually call an illness or even a functional disorder does not have the same meaning for this body. My body doesn't experience any disorder because it is perfect order. It is perfect integrality. Physicality is at its own level, vitality is at its own level, mentality is at its own level, and psychic is ever vibrating in the center, not dormant, active, with determinism, with dynamics of its own, and with its own universality, with its own varieties in abundance. So Sukshmatam Param Tattva has started occupying that one human body on the earth for launching this de novo program. That entire body is being brought under the direct command of this supreme power, working at universal level, working at individual level, working everywhere, anywhere under the sky in the entire cosmos. That is the condition. And that is something. Who is controlling my body? Who is controlling my psyche? Who is controlling my physicality? Who is controlling my microcosm? Something. It is something indescribable. Neti, 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 noiti. We had been there in previous birth and we have come back on the earth taking new birth. So we forgot what was our motherland. But mother remembers this perfect concentration. Concentration not in sense of our ordinary concentration, contemplation and meditation. Concentration means consolidation. Solidifying process. It is from non-solid material, solid is to be formulated. It is the solidarity that is to be created. But from what? From the stuff which is absolutely light, absolute consciousness. It is zero density matter, ocean of the zero density matter, and from this state is derived. But that is something. That something is controlling and commanding me. And even what we usually call an illness or even a functional disorder does not have the same meaning for this body. My body doesn't acknowledge the presence of illness or disorder because it is fundamentally in order. And my internal order of my internal milieu is not so timid, is not so weak, is not so susceptible to be under the influence of any sort of deterioration, any sort of negativity, any sort of illness. It is beyond it. For this body, as it does not, doctors or laymen for example, my body is body. I still feel, but not as per the definition of the doctors or laymen. It's beyond medical perception. It is beyond the perception of the medical world, or even a fundament does not have the same meaning for the body as it does for doctors or laymen, for example. It is not like that. The body doesn't feel it like that. It feels it as a sort of thereafter three dots are kept here. Dots, dots, dots. What sort of? Something. It is the embodiment of that something. It is the embodiment of that state of consciousness which is beyond naiti, neti. Difficulty in adjusting to a new vibratory need. But it's my difficulty also at present to describe before you. Mother looks at Satprem while communicating this subtle but absolutely concrete and truthful experiment to him. I cannot describe it at present. The only sensation that remains in the old way is physical pain. The only sensation at this juncture I can feel is the pain of friction that mother experienced on 5th of December 1950. Mind of light, while entering into the human body of the mother, the friction that she might have felt at that time, the same friction she is feeling at present. Because it is activated within, it has been activated inside. That mind of light being transmitted by Sri Aurobindo must have reached to her cellular level. It is not that the psychic was enriched by this mind of light. The cells of the body of mother, cells of the body of mother's human body, they all were enlightened, charged by that mind of light. And that ultimately awakens the mind of the cell. That is awakening. The only sensation that remains in the old way is physical pain. I have the impression they are the symbolic points of what remains from the old consciousness. My body is of the old consciousness. When this new consciousness as mind of light entered into my body, affecting my each and every cell, charging my each and every cell, awakening my each and every cell through the portal of my psychic, is a new body, is a new consciousness. And I can distinguish old consciousness and new consciousness simultaneously at this time. I don't know, but they obey a different law. My cells obey the different law. I don't see that my cells are at present obeying and being guided by something that is a new law, new consciousness. So mother, before creating her new body within, must have examined all different apparatus of her own physical body's laboratory. That is a de novo experiment.